All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you. Oh, it's a short show today. It's a short show today because I do have things that I have to go do. I was actually in the process of doing something and I stopped because I care about y'all. I stopped because I care about y'all. I got no ink on my arms because I know y'all. Why his arms all got ink on it? Because y'all, you know how y'all are. Some of y'all. But welcome. Let me get all my hellos in. Well, first, let me tell you, if you're new, this is kind of how I like to do. You come in and you say hello. I'm watching from wherever, downtown. Evanston. It's an old inside joke between me and somebody who probably ain't watching. You'd say where you're from. Dallas, Atlanta, New Jersey, Boston, wherever. I shout you out, and then I go on to say some nonsense, and, everybody has a good day. So let's get started. Robert Willis, he always throw up the deuces. What's up, Robert Willis? Got Preston in the house. Preston, good afternoon. He's representing Avondale. We got My Osha. She's in the house. I think that's waving. Hey. Dwayne. Good afternoon, Dwayne. Mount Airy checking in. We got Phyllis in the house. Anthony says he's found a unicorn. All right. The little baby be looking for unicorns. So I don't know exactly what that means, but all right. I'm happy for you. Sabrina from Kentucky. Kentucky in the house. Got Diane. Said making money Monday. And that's what I was working on doing, which is why this is going to be a short show. See, this is not a Wyatt, this is going to be a short show. When Wyatt say this is going to be a short show, that means Wyatt going to be on till like 7 o'clock. When I say it's going to be a short show, that means it's going to be a short show. Scott in the house says he checking in from all around Cincy. All right. Anthony says something about wood. All right. Hey, you like what you like, bro. I'm not here to judge you. Let me see. Got Ross in the house. He says greetings. From the nasty A Natty. Y'all know I don't cuss. VL in the house. Hello. Got Nat Turner in the house. All right. Checking in from the home office on the west side. Got Corey. Good afternoon, Corey. Thank you for checking me out and supporting. I appreciate it. Got Karen representing Western Hills. All right. Can't beat that. Nick Brown representing beautiful Blue Ash. There are some beautiful parts of Blue Ash. Thanks for checking me out, Nick. Got Mary in White Oak. Mary, thank you for checking out the show and supporting me. I appreciate it. Pamela, North Avondale. She says good afternoon. And good afternoon to you, Pamela. I appreciate you. Oh, let's see who else we got. We got Quintano in the house. Quintano, Mount Auburn. Bonita Gaines, representing Roselawn. All right. Got Brent representing. Are you representing Dallas today? Yeah, Dallas. Oh, let's see. Princess Flower representing Fairmount. All right. So we all over the place. Got Zakia in the house. Zakia, good afternoon. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. For those of you who don't know, I've changed some things. I think I've seen the light. Ross is doing what he does. All right. Stephanie, Roselawn, Stephanie checking us out. I appreciate you, Stephanie. I saw Ross's comment And I'm like, he just doing what he does. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now this hoodie is, if you just knew how big this hoodie is on me, like there's so much room in this thing. And that just, people do what they do. You let them do what they do. You let them do what they do. Every once in a while, you give yourself away because you say something nonsensical. It's a pretty big hoodie. Um, we got Brenda. Brenda checking us out from Fairfield. I appreciate you, Brenda. I ran into DJ iGrind of the Wiz today. I dropped your name and Wyatt. He's a cool guy. Yeah. iGrind. I always liked iGrind. He was a good dude. Tessie in the house representing Fairfield. All right, Tessie. You will grow into that hoodie. Nah, I'm not even gonna tell the hoodie story. But hopefully I don't grow into it. Hopefully I get even smaller. Like that word, nonsensical. Guess what it is? We got Tria in the house, representing Columbia Township. All right, now I've seen the light I don't know exactly what happened. I can't tell you exactly what happened. Oh, I forgot I had my AirPod in. I just dropped it. I don't know where it went, but it didn't go far. I'll find it after the show. I forgot I had that in. Yeah, I saw the light, man. I've come to the conclusion now, racism does not exist. It does not exist. Sure, there are prejudiced people in the world, but racism doesn't exist. And if you believe it does, you're just making excuses. You're just making excuses for failure. You are the problem if you believe that racism exists. All right? I also came to the conclusion that Republicans are the good guys. Republicans are the good guys. Democrats don't like you. Democrats, they're against you. Oh, hold on. Let me bring up the phones in case somebody want to call. Democrats don't like you. The Democrats are against you. The Republicans are for you. The Republicans, well, they might not be for you, but they'll treat you better than those daggone Democrats. That's for sure. Or they might not treat you better, but they won't treat you worse. So you should vote Republican. I know that's what I'm doing. Moving forward from this day, henceforth, now and forever. Well, maybe not forever, but I'm voting Republican. I think, what is there? I have to look, but I know for city council, because I live in the city. For city council, if there's a Republican running, I'm voting for the Republican. No Democrats. I've also come to the conclusion that Trump won. And all of this stuff about Trump, it's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt. And except for the trial that he's currently in, and, the ones before, none of these other cases will go to trial. None of these other cases will go to trial. And if they do, he'll be found not guilty. And if he is found guilty, he was railroaded. He was railroaded. All right? So, also, like I said, I'm yes on 22. I am for all of the levies. I'm for all of the levies. If there's a levy out there, just vote yes. Just vote yes. Because if you can't afford it, then, you don't have no business owning a house. You don't have no business owning a house if you can't afford to pay some extra taxes. So, there you go. That's that. I don't really have much else to say. Like, once you accept all of this stuff, life just gets so much easier. life just gets so much easier for you. It's so much easier to just accept these things than to fight against them. Y'all realize how hard it is trying to get people to see the truth? You just accept stuff. Just roll with it. Jason, yes, I'm voting all Republican now. All Republican. Scott says, but you know you don't accept it. Bro, I just said it. And you can't disprove anything that I said. Racism is not real. There's not a racist on this planet, period. Prove me wrong. Sure, there might be some people who, don't like some other people. It's usually not because of race. And if it is because of race, those people don't really have no power. They don't have no power to do nothing. And it is what it is. You let them be who they gonna be. Don't let them determine where you go in life. Don't let them determine what you can do and what you can't do. Now, back when I believed like some of y'all believe, I didn't let them determine that anyway. Okay? I didn't let them determine that. I was just into truth. I was just into calling out things that are for what they are. That's what I was into. So it wasn't like if I said, that's some racist stuff right there. That meant it changed what I was going to do in my life. It just meant I recognized what that is. And I recognized that to overcome some of those challenges, I had to work harder. Because I believed that there were people putting things in the way. I believed that. I don't know that I believe that anymore. Nobody's putting anything in your way. You just lazy. And I have to take responsibility. I'm not a multimillionaire. You know whose fault that is? Well, realistically, that's 100% my fault. It's 100% my fault. And for the most part, you're not even like really a good person if you're not like a multimillionaire. You might be like a good person in training. Rich people are much better than poor people, character-wise. And you can tell they're smarter. They're better. If you're rich, you're a good person. You're a smart person. If you're not, the evidence speaks for itself. So, I don't know. That's right, Anthony. Hold on, let me see if I can put it up. If I can find it. Where did it go, Anthony? Oh, I got to scroll down. They can't handle the MAGA truth. And speaking of that, well, hold on before I get to that. Somebody need to do something to all of those daggone Republicans that did not vote for Jim Jordan. He was the best candidate for speaker. He should have been speaker. Now he won't be speaker. We'll get some second-rate speaker. But Jim Jordan was the guy. And you're right. Anthony. They can't handle the. What is wrong with making America great? How can you be anti making America great? I don't even understand it. How could that bother anybody? Making what, you want America to not be great? We should all be MAGA. We should all be MAGA. Telling you, there was nothing wrong with. What's the opposite of making America great? If you're anti-MAGA, you're anti-making America great. So what do you want to make America if not great? I'm just saying. Brent says also it's the Democrats' fault that the House Republicans, who have the majority, can't elect a new Speaker of the House. Well, I didn't believe that at first, but then I thought about it. The logic of it makes sense. It is their fault. Number one, if they would have just not voted, they could have abstained from kicking out McCarthy. They could have abstained. No, it's their fault that we're in this situation. They could have abstained because this really is not a vote for them. This was a Republican thing. And if the Democrats would have just minded their own business and did nothing, Kevin McCarthy would still be in there and the government would still be running the way it's supposed to run. But no. Democrats decide, well, since I got a vote, I'm going to use a vote. So selfish. So selfish of them. It was intentional. And really, all they need to do was just a few of them should have voted for Jim Jordan. A few of them should have voted for Jim Jordan just to get everything over with. They don't want the country to move forward. Told y'all those Democrats are bad. I told y'all those Democrats are bad. They don't care about you. But y'all out here on the Democratic plantation. Tanika says you was trying to preach us to the high heavens on Lincoln's show. You just forgot to ha instead of her. Different styles. It's different styles. Some is ha, some is her, some is And then here locally. Now, here's my question. For all of you no on 22 people, which I was, but I had to ask myself these questions. And, that led me to my new position of yes on 22. Who do you trust to have the interest of black people in their hearts and first in their minds more than Charlie Luken? Come on, I would trust Charlie Luken with your life. I would trust him with your life. If there's nobody else that you can trust in Cincinnati to, again, have the best interests of the black community and work hard to see to it that the black community is treated fairly in Cincinnati, who else could it be other than Charlie Luken? Don't we all trust Charlie Luken? All of us? They gonna get their money, and Charlie Luken is gonna steer it to the places where, number one, where it'll help everybody, but definitely where it'll help the black community in Cincinnati. Charlie Luken. Come on, y'all. Just come on. Just see the logic in this thing. See the logic in it. Look. We vote yes. We get the $1.6 billion, right? I don't, I didn't mean to do that. I don't think anybody can argue that point. That's just factual. That's just factual. $1.6 billion. We get $1.6 billion. Put that in the bank. Hire some people. They invest the money. Then we get more money than what we've been getting. And then we just leave that in there forever. Forever. Because $1.6 billion in 2023 will be worth $1.6 billion in 3023. It'll always be $1.6 billion. And the value of that will always be about the same, roughly. I mean, it is billion with a B. 100 years from now, it had the same value. And then we'll still be making money off of it. Come on, y'all. And we'll make more money than we making now. And you know what they'll do with that money? Help the black community. And you know the one of the main things that they're going to do, and this is really what you should be concerned about. This is what woke me up more than anything else. I saw a commercial, and it was a little girl drinking some water. I'll tell you what it reminded me of in a different way. It reminded me of Miss Jane Pittman. Remember in Miss Jane Pittman? What was it? The Diary of Jane Pittman? And she went over to that water fountain, and it was the white water fountain. You notice we don't have any of those anymore. Colored and white water fountains, because racism is gone. It disappeared. That's just a little off thing. But and Jane Pittman went over to the little water fountain and she turned it on. And her lips was quivering. She wasn't really thirsty. She just wanted to make the point that I can drink this water. But I saw that I think it was a little girl. I saw that little girl drinking that water. And they was like, this is not a direct quote, but they said, our water is nasty. Did you know that our water was nasty? Huh? Did you know that our water was nasty, filthy, dirty, hazardous even? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. See, the stuff you learn when you watch these commercials. But if we vote yes on issue 22, the water will be clean. The water will be clean. Who out here among us does not want clean drinking water? I didn't know. I didn't know it was dirty water. But they wouldn't lie to us on the commercial. They wouldn't lie to us on the commercial. Am I the only one who saw it? Anybody else see the commercial? Show of hands. Anybody? Anybody? Raise your hand if you saw the commercial. They would not lie to us on the commercial. And, now they didn't say this on the commercial, but do you want your kids, when your kid is outside in the open air, swinging on a swing, sliding on a slide, do you want your child outside breathing in asbestos? I don't. And that little baby, I don't want the little baby. She loved going to playgrounds. I don't want the little baby breathing in asbestos while we out at the park. And if you vote yes on 22, it won't be no more asbestos. Not at the park anyway, in the fresh air, blowing around for little 5-year-olds to breathe in while they laughing. And then she gets thirsty and we go over to the water fountain and she drinking that nasty water. If you vote yes on 22, all of that will be taken care of. All of it. Jetta says, and to be precise, people even died for you to have that right to drink out of the white water fountain. But who wants to drink? First, we don't have any more white water fountains in that way. Whites only, colors only, because racism doesn't exist anymore, Miss Robertson. But even if we did, right now, I wouldn't drink out of the white water fountain because they get the nasty, dirty, hazardous Cincinnati water too. Mary wants to know, is there lead in the sandbox? I have to see what the next round of issue 22 commercials say. Just because I don't know it to be the fact now doesn't mean it won't be a fact in the next commercial. But if it is, and issue 22 passes, they will fix the lead in the sandbox. The fact that these people are telling bald-faced lies to get a yes vote is astounding. Hold on, who telling lies? Who telling lies? I'm just saying, I've seen the light about a lot of this stuff. About a lot of this stuff. Janice says, I know you get my point. No, I don't. I don't get your point. I don't. E-Man must have got a hold of a bad batch of ginger snaps. See, that's how y'all do when a black man decides to not be a Democrat anymore. Oh, now he got to be all kind of bad names and stuff. That's how y'all do. I'm just here to tell y'all what's true and right. That's it. That don't make me a bad person. (513-717-5464). That's the number to get on board. Again, I don't have a whole lot today. Except I want us to come around to this new way of thinking. I want y'all to come around to this new way of thinking. And look, don't get me wrong. Again, I used to push back. I used to push back against it. But think about this. Like I said earlier, can you prove that racism exists? In the past, I'm going to just say 50 years. Give me an actual instance of racism. What took you so long? What took so long for you to switch to Republican? I was hard-headed. I was sitting back thinking, which I'm sure some of y'all do. I was sitting back thinking, why should I vote Republican if they don't care about me any more than Democrats? Why should I vote for Republican? If you telling me that Democrats don't care nothing about me and Republicans don't care nothing about me, why should I vote for Republicans? You'd be better off trying to convince me than to not vote. If you say Democrats don't care and Republicans don't care, you'd be better off trying to convince me don't vote for anybody who don't care about you. That's what I used to think. But now, okay, Democrats don't care about you. They don't care about you. The only reasonable thing to do would be to vote for Republicans. Like, look, here's the only place where I disagree with some of the people, right? I disagree with some of the people who seem to share my same position. Now, it's going to sound like I'm arguing one point, but I'm not. I'm just laying out some information for you. Y'all know I like my analogies, right? Y'all know I like my analogy. You don't even have to say it. It's different, Emanuel. I'll say it for you. That's different. It's not the same, okay? So you don't even have to say it. I recognize it's not the same, right? But I used to hear people say when I would argue, people would be like, hey, don't vote for Democrats. And I would be like, well, then what do the Republicans have to offer? And people would get, a little upset. Why are you asking me what Republicans have to offer? What do they have to do with anything? Why don't you be more concerned about your side? That didn't make sense to me. I don't think that they understand how this stuff works. So here's my analogy. Say you got 2 brands of peanut butter. You got Jif and you got Skippy. And they both pretty much the same. I mean, it's, peanuts, some sugar, some preservatives. Hold on, I got a call coming in. CK?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Livingston?
CK, I'm doing all right. Can you hold on for a minute?
Yes, sir, no problem.
All right, let me get this analogy out. So you got Jif and you got Skippy, right? And say I'm a Jif man, and I'm eating my Jif. Because, again, they about the same. It's peanuts, it's sugar, and some other crap for preservatives. And you trying to convince me, don't eat Jif. You should be eating Skippy. It sounds to me like it's a reasonable thing. Emanuel, you shouldn't be eating that daggone Jif peanut butter. And I say to you, why? And you say to me, well, it's got a lot of sugar in it. It's not good for your health. It's got a lot of fat in it. That's not good for your health. It's got a lot of preservatives in it. That's not good for your health, man. You gonna kill yourself eating that daggone peanut butter. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So you should eat Skippy. It's reasonable for me to say, what's better about Skippy? That sounds reasonable to me. That's a reasonable question. You telling me that these 2 things that seem the same, one is better than the other. So it sounds reasonable for me. If you want me to stop eating Jif, to ask you, well, what is the benefits of eating Skippy? And I'm like, don't Skippy got sugar in it? And you're like, why you worried about the sugar in Skippy? I'm like, because you just told me not to eat Jif. Because it's got sugar in it. So it makes sense for me to ask the question, do Skippy have sugar in it? Don't get mad at me for asking a reasonable, logical question, right? So I won't get mad at you. I'm telling you, don't vote for Democrats, vote for Republicans. And if you say, well, why should I vote for Republicans? I'm not going to get mad at you. Why are you asking me that question? That's a reasonable question. It's a reasonable question. Democrats don't care about you. Do Republicans care about me? See, you concentrating on the wrong thing. You should be concentrating on what? It's reasonable to ask that question. It's reasonable. Don't eat Jif. It's got sugar in it. Do Skippy have sugar in it? Why are you asking me about Skippy? That's not reasonable. That's not reasonable. So I think that's where I'm a little different than some of the people who are out here telling you, don't vote Democrat, vote Republican. And when you say, well, do the Republicans care about black people? Why are you asking why the Republicans care about black people? See, that's the wrong question to be asking. Then what difference do it make if Republicans care about black people? Because you just told me not to vote for Democrats because they don't care about black people. Then you should be worried about whether or not the Democrats care about black people. But you giving me an alternative. It's reasonable for me to ask, how does the alternative feel? So I'm not along those lines. You can ask. You can ask me those questions. CK.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Man, hey, I like that analogy. Yeah, you got to do it like that. Put the people on hold, then go on with your thought, then come back. You feel me? Ain't it better like that, or you think it's more smooth?
I think it's wonderful.
Yep, yep. And men don't use that word enough. Wonderful. I used to use that back in 2019. The word wonderful.
Oh,
You know, yeah, it's a rarely word used by men. It's more of a woman word.
is it
Did you know
really?
that?
I did not know that. I
Yeah,
never paid attention to who uses the word wonderful.
yeah, it's good. I mean, especially when you see, I do the word play because I was rely on tips, so I got to I got to know how to get into that brain stem and get the biggest chunk out your pocket.
What do
You
you
know.
hold on? What do you do that relies on tips?
Oh, this is a career from 2019. I ain't into that no more. I'm on the other thing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was just talking good to him, good customer service. But are you familiar with Michael Kerning um,
I'm not.
out of South Alabama University? Have you heard of that university?
No, sir.
This dude graduated from South Alabama University at 10 years old. White boy. They say he's the smartest white man ever to live.
Oh,
Yep,
who says that?
yep. It's on Google. It was on Google.
Oh,
Graduated at 10. Can you imagine graduating college at 10 years old?
okay.
That's impressive, ain't it?
That does sound impressive.
Come on now. That's all you got to do. People gonna know what party to choose. Long as you give them that education, you know to go either red, blue, or stay independent. Nothing wrong with being independent. Just picking whoever you want to roll with. You ain't got to go with either party. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, the problem is Emmanuel is choosing an alliance. You can't. You got to remember they're both corrupt. They're both criminals. So whenever you're joining one, you're joining a gang. So you're joining a corrupt organization.
But wait a
So
minute. Wait,
you
wait,
might
wait.
want
Hold on.
to.
Wait. Who's a criminal?
The Democrats and Republicans.
I don't know that it's fair to say that a whole group of people is a criminal. The whole group would have had to do some criminal act. I would argue that it's possible that there are criminals in both parties, but to say that the Democrats are criminals or the Republicans are criminals might be a bit of a flawed statement.
They charging the head of state with criminal crimes in Georgia. The president of the United States is incarcerated for crimes.
Hey,
That proves
wait,
everything.
what president is incarcerated?
Donald Trump.
Oh, did some breaking news come down? I didn't see that.
You didn't see when he got locked up in Georgia?
No.
They made that man do fingerprints, everything. So that shows you if they can lock up the president,
Well, he
the
wasn't.
whole party corrupt.
No, he's not locked up. He's not incarcerated.
So he beat the case.
No, the case hasn't come up yet, and it probably won't. It won't go to trial because he's not guilty, but it hasn't come up yet. I mean, he's been charged. There's a difference between being charged and processed and being incarcerated.
But you got to be sure to let the kids know if you want to join that type of career path, that is criminal. You can't join that trying to be, that would that's a business that would turn you out. You can go in there with good intentions and get turned into mob boss.
But that's any career.
No, not politics, because
No, that's CK. That is any career. You work at the chicken place, right?
mm-hmm.
if you decide, boy, this chicken, I need some chicken, and you take some chicken home, you just committed a crime. Any workplace, any career can lead you to make some bad decisions and be criminal. I don't know that you can necessarily put that on being a politician.
Oh, so you saying the politicians are not corrupt people?
I'm saying they're people. And some
Right.
people do corrupt things and some people don't.
Mhm. Yep. Cause yeah, I seen them. I seen them because they yeah. I seen a few of them. Like, remember they stole the election back from Al Gore. Al Gore folded
They
like
stole the election
a
from
chair.
Trump just a few years ago.
Mm-mm. No, that was a farce. Al Gore was real. Trump's was fake.
Now they stole that election from Trump.
You gotta look at the numbers. So who did you roll with? You voted for Trump that year?
No, I voted for Biden.
No, you talk. Oh, I thought. Okay.
I voted for
Okay.
Biden, but looking back, they stole that election from Trump. Anybody can use funny, fuzzy math and the Muse movie, the Muse movie where they was stuffing ballot boxes and all of that kind of stuff. They stole that election from Donald Trump. He was
But
robbed.
he can't be. Long as he got in there, he only listen. Long as I make it in there once, I'm not trying to go back twice. That's where he going wrong. He trying to win, lose, and then win again. That ain't gonna happen.
Because he didn't
You got to keep
lose.
winning.
Because he didn't lose.
That No, it's a loss. Officially, it's a loss. We got Biden in there. Biden, the oldest president we ever had in our life. He older than Ronald Reagan, ain't
I'm not sure. Is he?
he? Man, that dude, he been sleeping at the wheel for like 3 months.
So would you vote for Biden again?
Heck yeah, ain't got no choice. Ain't got no choice. I'm a blue. I'm a Crip. I always vote with the blues every time, just
Why?
straight down.
Why do you always vote with the Blues?
I was born a Crip. I was born into even when I was in school doing mock elections. I voted for Dan against Dan Quill and them. I voted for Michael Dukakis. That's how far I go back. It don't matter because I know how corrupt they is. They both corrupt, so I'm just rolling with the Crips.
So if they both corrupt, then why you voting for either one of they corrupt A's?
Because they say voting is the most important thing you got to do. They say that's more important than water. Voting.
And water is
look at
dirty
the-
here in Cincinnati.
Hey, that's what I really called you for. That water nasty as hell. I'm like, you must live where you got some good water. Nah. That water nasty. That's what I call for. That water ain't good. I mean, yeah, you drink it when you gotta drink it, but when you can afford better, you buy bottled.
You could just get
You act. This ain't 1976 drinking out the
you
fountain.
could just get a filter, right?
Ooh, God. And just look how filthy that filter get. Oh man. Ooh. Ooh, you should get the filter.
You were really disturbed by that.
Hey. Because it tastes like Flint water. It's like every time I taste it, I taste Flint. Like, it's crazy.
Well, all right.
It's crazy, man. You could try to make it taste a little better with ice cubes, but that don't do much.
So you are, well, usually the ice cubes are made out of the same thing.
Exactly. Yes, sir. I'm about to make me some of this nasty water right now. I appreciate it.
So you are voting yes on 22.
What's that, the abortion to it? What kind of
No,
abortion law that is?
that's the red road.
Yeah, I'm against abortion, so whatever that is, which way do I need to vote on that? Because I need to go against abortion on that.
Huh?
Because Cause they be making it all. They be tricking you with the statement, so you always vote the wrong way. Like I don't know which way to vote on that abortion law.
Well, if you are one of these people who want to see babies murdered, then you vote no.
Okay. So vote yes on this law. Okay. See, if you want it to be, see, they always make it tricky
I'm
like
sorry,
that.
I mean
Yep.
then you vote yes.
Huh?
Nothing.
See, that's how confusing it is. That's why people don't vote.
Oh boy.
Yes, sir. I
Yes,
appreciate you, brother.
voting yes. Um,
Hmm.
as some of y'all liberals will say, voting yes creates a situation where women still have a choice on whether or not they're gonna murder their babies.
Yep, no choice for murdering babies. Yep. So I got to vote yes to go against that. I'm
All
gonna
right.
have to read some more literature.
That's a good idea.
Yep, I appreciate it, Mr. Livingston.
All right, CK.
All right,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for your call. All right. So there you go. I don't know what we just accomplished there, but I know we accomplished something. I know we accomplished something. Um, do not tell that man not to vote. Don't tell that man not to vote. The man want to vote, let him vote. Um, Stop it. CK's a good look. Just because if he doesn't understand something, I can always appreciate a person who may or may not understand something asking the question. I can always appreciate that. He did not say literature. He said literature. He going to read. He going to read. Um, what else? There was something else that I wanted to discuss. Um, oh boy. All right, let's see. I can't. I can't keep going. Hell no, I'm not for issue 22. I be trying. Here's what y'all have to understand. I be trying to switch. And I be trying to understand what creates a situation where people view these things through these lenses. And so I try to put on those lenses to see and try to create, like when I was arguing that Donald Trump got cheated. I was really trying to think of some sort of argument to justify that. And I can't. When I tell y'all racism don't exist no more, I can't think of any real argument to be made there. I can't. And I don't understand people who genuinely make that argument with every fiber of their being. I don't understand it. No, I'm not no Republican. No, I'm not voting for no Republicans. And I don't understand the logic behind people who try to convince us to do it. I just don't. And like I said, like I was saying with the GIF and the Skippy, I really don't understand it if you make a point of telling me how bad the Democrats are. And I acknowledge that the Democrats ain't like no saviors for black people or for nobody. They're just a political party. But if you make this grand argument about how bad they are and how they don't care about black people and why are you promising them your vote, why do you get upset when clearly you're trying to convince people to vote Republican? Clearly. Either you're trying to convince people, because, hold on, let me say that. I understand. We got two parties. Two, we got multiple parties, but in terms of national elections, there's really two viable parties right now. Not to say that there could never be another party, but as it stands right now, there are no viable third parties, say when it comes to the president. They just don't exist. They just don't exist. Not right now. Not right now. They just don't. So if you're saying to me, hey, don't vote Democrat, you're either telling me one of two things in the current political climate. You're saying vote Republican or don't vote. Those are one of the two things that you're saying. Mary says 3 parties. What's the third party? What's the third viable party on the national level? I mean, I'm trying to be as honest and reasonable as possible. So if you're telling me don't vote Democrat, black man, independent. That is number one. Independent is not a party. Independent is not a party. Independent is the actual opposite of a party. Independent means I'm not affiliated with either party or with any party. Independent is not a party. Libertarian. Who is the viable, the libertarian candidate who has a shot at winning the presidency in 2024? I'm not saying they don't exist. I said viable. And to me, so I have to define it from my perspective to you. A viable candidate is a candidate with, if you're talking about 3 parties, a 33% chance of winning. Who's the viable third party candidate for the presidency in 2024? And if you're being realistic, now being idealistic, heck, you can say anybody. RFK Jr. But come on, he's not viable. You might like him, but there's no chance that he's gonna win. Cornel West, you might like him, but there's no chance that he's gonna win. He don't have a chance. So when you say don't vote for the Democrat, but I'm not telling you to vote Republican, then you're telling me don't vote. And I know these people aren't telling you not to vote. They're trying to get you to vote for the Republican candidate. So if you tell me vote for the Republicans, and I say, and because your point is Democrats don't like black people, or Democrats ain't trying to help black people, or you ain't getting none for your vote when you vote for the Democrats. Okay, cool. Then why should I vote for Republicans? Why are you asking about Republicans? Because that's who you're trying to convince me to vote for. Y'all don't know how much that frustrates me when they do that. Biden is under impeachment inquiry. Stop it. Stop it. That impeachment inquiry is nothing. Even the people that they called to testify in the impeachment inquiry said he hasn't done anything worthy of being impeached. When your witnesses say The people that the prosecution call say, he haven't done anything worthy of being prosecuted or being impeached. Like nothing, no, nothing that we know of. That's not a real impeachment inquiry. It's not. Davis Denise says it's still going on. They just said he got a $200,000 check. And have they proven that he got a $200,000 check illegally through some illegal means? Look, I'm not here to convince you to vote for Democrats. I'm really not. Like, I try to be, in all honesty, the opposite of those guys. That's why it's an inquiry. But then that means nothing. That means nothing. An inquiry means nothing. Like, you got to be able to bring it's to me, an inquiry is, it's not the same as. But like, if you look at the criminal proceedings, going to the grand jury, to me, that's the inquiry. You go to the grand jury and just imagine going to the grand jury and every witness that the prosecution brings in says, you try to indict me for, I don't know, burglary. You say, well, he burglarized this establishment. So the prosecution brings in witnesses, and the first witness says, I don't think that he burglarized anything. Oh, okay. You bring in another witness, and they say, I don't think that he did anything wrong. I don't think he stole anything, actually. Oh, okay. Then you bring in another witness, and they say, yeah, no, I don't think he stole anything. I don't think he burglarized anything. And then you bring in another witness, and they say, well, I mean, he had an item. Where did he get the item? I have no idea where he got the item. I'm just telling you, I know he did have something. Did it come from that store? I don't know. I don't know if it came from that store. I don't know where it came from. But he had an item. Well, do you think he burglarized anything? No, I don't. There's no evidence. Well, but it did go to the grand jury. But if they can't present any evidence, see, they're using this inquiry as if it's the investigation. Like, you should bring some evidence of wrongdoing to the grand jury. Not just random accusations. He had some stuff. Oh, he had $200,000. You know where it came from? No. That's not any evidence of any wrongdoing. Look, and I'm not here to say that he didn't do anything wrong, but they got to prove it. Caller.
No, this Marquetta.
Marquetta, how you doing?
Man? Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you. Marquetta, here's what I want to ask you before you get started.
I like your fade. Go ahead.
It's not a fade. It's actually, I just cut it all the way down as close as my clippers could go. But here's what I want to ask you before we get started. Can we have a conversation?
I ain't going to talk at you. I
Okay.
ain't going to holler at you.
All right.
I ain't going to call you stupid and black and dumb for voting Democrat. Go ahead, brother.
I appreciate that. What's on your mind?
Well, the first thing that's on my mind is this terrible Palestinian genocide that we are all watching happening before our eyes. And I don't really have anybody to talk to about it, so I decided I would call you.
All right, maybe you can enlighten me, just to the degree that you can, and that I will accept it from you. And don't take that wrong. But I don't. I'm watching this stuff, and I'm
Mhm.
listening,
Mhm.
but I don't have. I believe certain stuff to be true, but I don't
Mhm.
know it to be true for a fact.
Mhm. Because
S-
wag the dog. I seen a CNN correspondent lying on the ground and saying that Israel was being bombed and they was under attack, but it was people just walking behind her and riding their bikes. They didn't seem to be in any type of turmoil. But
It,
I wanted to talk to us
exactly.
about this.
And
You know.
and Marquetta, just so you know, it is stuff like that. Like I made the example. I watched Martha Raddatz,
Mhm.
and she was being led around by an Israeli higher up in their military, and he was
Mhm.
pointing out to her evidence of atrocities. And I was saying I didn't trust some of the evidence that he was laying out because just from a logical standpoint, it didn't make sense. Not that it didn't make sense that some of the stuff, but it's almost like you got something, but then you got to do a little something to hype it up. So, he showed this is the blood on the wall from where they murdered these people in their beds. And I don't know a whole lot about blood, but it had to be what, 5 days or so after the attack took place,
And it's
and the
still
blood was
red.
still bright red. And I'm like, don't blood like turn brown and dry up after a
You gotta
while?
give it some razzle dazzle. You
Yeah.
gotta give it some razzle dazzle. You ain't gonna watch it and listen if it's not entertaining. And war and genocide is entertaining.
But I'm like, you
It
you
is
might
profitable.
you might could have me. Like you might could get me like, oh my God, that's so sad. And I'm not saying that two people did not get killed in that bed. I don't know that to be true or false. But I know after 5 days that blood shouldn't still be bright red and on the wall looking like some strawberry jelly.
Mm,
So
mm, mm,
you
mm.
that's why I had to look at it and be like, what he's saying might be true, but like you say, he had to put a little stank on it to convince me. And by doing that, you kind of lost me. So that's why I say I don't know what I believe. I know what I believe, but I can't accept a lot of this stuff that they're showing me as fact because I also understand propaganda.
There you go. Now you're talking. That's what I'm saying, E-Man. Because here's the thing about belief. You can believe anything, but it's fact that can be proven. And my thing is, I'm always going to go black with you. I argue all the time. People from all over the world, they come over here to America and they get money in our communities off their gas stations, off their hair stores, off their convenience mart, and they still call us niggas. And we can be as nice and as empathetic as we want to with them, but they still gonna get rich off of us and call us Mayete, Goyim, Abid, Nika, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the propaganda. If you practice Judaism, you're still waiting for the return of the Messiah. If you are practicing Jew, you're waiting for Jesus to come. You're waiting for the Messiah to come.
All right.
Zionists don't practice that. Zionists practice the UN charter that establishes Israel, and then the Kaaba that says we're going to section off a part of Palestine that they don't recognize anymore. They now just call it Israel. And it's just like if I say, oh no, they killing you over there. Come in my house. Hide in my house with me. You're like, okay, I'm gonna let you sleep in the living room. You can sleep in the living room, but the rest of the house is mine. And you're like, no, well, I'm gonna have some kids and some other folks over. I'm gonna need your room too. Why don't you move in the bathroom? And I say, I don't want to live in the bathroom. Well, I'm gonna have to take the bathroom from you too. And if you say something about it, I'm gonna kill you. So Zionism is, if you listen to Joe Biden and others, every president go to that well and wow and pledge allegiance to Israel because Zionism says that the Jews are the chosen people of God, and the UN Charter recognizes them as such. and they are supreme over all others. Okay? That's not Jewish. That's not Judaism. A practicing Jew will protest Israel because they're still waiting on the coming of the Messiah. They don't believe that Jesus has come. Now, as Christians, we all in the blood of Christ, so we all believe, we all one person. There's no Jew, no Gentile, no Philistine. We all covered by the blood. They don't believe that. The Muslims don't believe that, and they will cuss you out and spit on your black butt about being Christian. So for me, I'm empathetic, but there's nobody empathetic for me. There's nobody empathetic for us. When you talk about killing babies and beheading babies over there, you seen a beheaded baby yet?
I haven't.
Hello? Okay.
And they kind of, I saw where they were kind of backing off of that a little bit. Like, okay, some of the baby stuff might have been oversold just a little bit, but they definitely put it. I was waiting for them to say puppies too, because the people who don't like babies, they love puppies, and the people who but they backed off of that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So the thing is, like you said, the propaganda, the wag the dog. The Biden says it like this: you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist, and you don't have to practice Judaism to be a Zionist. Okay, Zionism is basically white supremacy, and if they hadn't established Israel and Palestine, they would have established it in Uganda. If they wouldn't have established it in Uganda, they would have had it over in Europe somewhere. But the point I'm getting at is these are self-interested groups of people. People are specifically saying free Palestine. They're specifically saying, even though Arabs are also Semites, ask a Jewish person what a Semite is. Ask them to define what a Semite is. And how can I be anti-Semitic to a Jew and you're not being anti-Semitic to an Arab? Because both of y'all are half-breeds out of the Ottoman Turk Empire that conquered Africa, and y'all fighting over African land. You talk to these people and ask them who created the pyramids, even though it is pictorial proof, 5, 6, 7, 8, some say 300,000 years old, of black Nubian kings from the south of Sudan. In the hieroglyphics, they would tell you that those is black Caucasians, and that the black man ain't never built nothing, and that the pyramids don't belong to black people, and that we have no history, and so we have no connection to the Holy Land.
But so, Marquetta, as someone pointed out, no matter who you put in office right now, if you put Donald Trump in office, he's going to have basically the same position as Joe Biden. That is the position of this country. And it's if you don't have that position in this country, you in trouble. You not going to get elected in this country to the presidency saying anything about Zionists and supporting Palestine and any of that kind of stuff. So I don't see, in terms of this, I don't see one is better than the other on this front at all.
Because we get in play. You either an elephant in the room, or you a donkey with a carrot in front of your face that you will never catch up to. And for black people, like Tim Scott is a good example. Tim Scott got up on that Republican debate stage and said that Johnson's great deal was worse than slavery. Here you got a group of people who were kidnapped by other groups of people who look like them and sold for umbrellas.
But hold on. But the truth of the matter is, he can't be in that party trying to. I don't even think he's really trying to be the president. I think he's auditioning for vice president. He can't be in that party auditioning for vice president and really say anything different.
But he's not even vying for vice president. He's vying to be a coon. He's vying to be he's a representative of the black American slave experience in America, to say that it did not impact me. And that's what I'm trying to get at. You have people who reach a certain affluence in this country who want to be respected as men or respected as women, and they don't respect him, Scott, because they like, where your woman at? Where your kids? Why you ain't got no woman and no kids? You such and such old, and you still ain't got, you ain't even got a white woman? Where your wife? He can't defend his masculinity without having a heterosexual relationship, and so he already out the picture. But he's willing to put his people's historical legacy on the line and say that it doesn't matter what happened to us. You never should have gave us welfare. We should have starved. You never should have gave us Section 8. We're criminals. You never should have gave us nothing because we need to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. But they will finance Israel. They will finance the Ukraine off of your tax dollars. And that's why, you know, when you talk to me, I talk about reparations. Our people are in the situation that we in because we got robbed, we got enslaved, we got beat, and we got stolen from. And so we can't be voting based off a political party. We have to vote based on our issues and who has our issues, who is going to be pushing our issues. And that's how we kind of got into the Democratic Party, because at least we did have somebody say, we'll give you some cheese, you know, we'll help you out with that little housing, but that don't mean that they gonna do the right thing by us. Everybody, you know, the October surprise, if you do the research, the October surprise, every election season, you can go back for years and find that there's some sort of international political event that's staged, that's supported by, because Israel created Hamas, America created ISIS, right? Then they fund them. They give them weapons of war. And they say, oh, no, look at these terrorists. They're going to kill us all. And then they leave them with weapons and come back 5 years later, you got the same problem. So they fund the war on both sides. But for black people, we lose sight of our issues as a group, as a historically group. And I'm not talking about all black people. I'm talking about historically speaking, the black American experience. I'm not talking about no Africans who decide to migrate over here. I'm not talking about Afro-Mexicans or Afro-Latinos who trying to escape their own racism in their countries and decide to come here. I'm talking about American black people. What are our issues, and why are we not a strong enough group that they won't bow to us like they do to the Ukraine, like they do to the Israelites?
Do we believe that our vote counts? And when I say counts, I don't mean count. Do we believe we can make a difference as a voting bloc?
Have we? Do you have the right to vote? Is you still waiting on the voters' right? What is it called? The Voters' Right Act? What's that called?
Well, I mean, I have the right to vote. I believe I have the right to vote. I do believe that if we vote as a bloc, vote our interests as a bloc, that we can make a difference. But I don't know that a lot of people believe that.
The party is, so it's not the party. I could go to a party. I was at a party. Look, I was at the bar last night. I had a party by myself. Wasn't nobody there but me. I had to tell the DJ, though, cut the Mary J. Blige off. Cut the Keith Sweat off. You know, I'm not depressed. I'm not a divorcee. I ain't drunk. I don't need that type. Turn off the party music. You know, it's a party. So if you get invited to a party, expect party shenanigans to go down. White people are fighting each other in every country in the world right now. They're fighting each other. They just fighting each other all over the world, okay? So in America, we should expect them to be fighting too. So that's what they do in the Republican and the Democratic Party. They fight each other, but it's all optics to keep us confused from our own issues. Hakeem Jeffries don't represent me. What color is that? What is that? What is Hakeem Jeffries?
Wait, why doesn't he represent you? So I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about Hakeem Jeffries, so now I'm asking for information's sake. Why do you say he doesn't represent you?
So in my opinion, okay, everybody got, you know, their opinion, like everybody got to know. Hakeem Jeffries was asked by Cori Bush about reparations. You know, we want to get, she said, $76 trillion of reparations to Black America. It said, yeah, I need everybody in everybody's zip code to have a better life. And you hear that a lot of times from black politicians who will come in on the backs of black issues and say, I understand that you black and the black people this and the black people that. And when they get in power, they say, well, I can't just do for black people. I got to do for everybody. That's what Kamala Harris did. I can't just do anything in particular for black people. No, I can't do that. But you do it for Israel. You do it for the Ukraine. You do it for the Venezuelans. You do it for the Puerto Ricans. You do it for the African migrant. But the black American taxpayer is being robbed. And until we say, like, I don't think that Trump or Biden are viable candidates. Like the people in your chat told you, they both criminals. Whether we want to acknowledge the impeachment inquiry as being valid or not, it's going on. They doing it. They still pulling checks.
Well, hold on.
They doing the forensics of his bank account. They got the right. Wait, let me finish.
Okay,
they have the right as members of Congress. They have the right as an oversight committee board to say we have questions about our president being influenced by foreign agents, and we want to look at his bank account and bank statements through this impeachment inquiry, and they are doing that. So that lessens his electability on a national scene. And same with Trump. He in court. That's the next viable candidate. He might go to jail. So neither of these people.
Well, but hold on. Again, by my definition of viable, doesn't necessarily mean a good candidate or a just candidate. There's the chance that a Republican or a Democrat will be elected as president in 2024 is much greater than some other party or non-party candidate. And that is what I'm calling a viable candidate. If you look percentage-wise, I would say right now you 50-50 Republican. Okay, maybe not 50-50. Let's say 48-48. There's a 48% chance that it'll be a Republican, a 48% chance that it'll be a Democrat, and maybe a 4% chance that it could be anybody other than those two. So that's why I say those are the viable candidates. That's reality in my mind.
Mm-hmm. So again, we go back to wagging the dog. And all that I'm saying is you can vote who you want to, and we have been doing that. When we vote, why am I echoing? When we voted Barack Obama, who was going to vote for McCain and Palin? Be for real.
They got a lot of votes.
Come on, man.
They got votes.
That was wag the dog. That was political theater. Everybody knew. Come on. Dude was singing bomb, 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 Iran. I mean,
they got votes, though. They got votes, but there was no other viable candidate during that election.
Jill Stein was a viable candidate.
She wasn't.
She was third party. She got a percentage of the vote.
What percentage of the vote did she get?
7%.
7% is not a viable candidate.
Hillary Clinton, y'all thought she was a viable candidate. Now, how you think Hillary Clinton did to Trump?
She was a viable candidate. She won the popular vote, didn't she?
Child, be for real. Political theater is what I'm saying. We watch enough TV. We watch enough TV shows to know how this thing works by now. Propaganda is on the table. Wag the dog is on the table. This is a scripted political reality TV show that we are watching, and it is controlled by Zionists who don't care who you vote for. Zionism is still going to be in power and control, and they direct the tax dollars. They make themselves the priority in the budget. And what I'm saying to black people is stop it. Stop the madness. If you want to be a powerful entity in this voting thing, create a political action committee. Did you see the Sheila Jackson Lee audio that just dropped?
No.
Sheila Jackson Lee cussed out her whole staff call them incompetent nincompoops and a bunch of other names I'm not gonna say. But this black woman from Jamaica is running for, I want to say, mayor of Texas. She ain't got no historical allegiance to the black American experience. Her people came here willingly from Jamaica. Our people were forced to work from sunup to sundown, can't see morning, can't see night, in the South, in the cotton fields, until the late 70s. We had our government writing laws that made it legal to arrest us and re-enslave us. We have an entertainment corporation that has propagandized us into criminality. That even as I seen Bob Woodson telling some white man, well, he ain't even white, he Arab, that we were the main antagonizers of race crimes against Asians. And that's not true. 75% of the Asian hate crimes are created by white people. And black people are still the biggest victims of hate crimes in this country. But we've been propagandized against ourselves. And what I'm saying is we have to focus, get some allegiance, get some self-love. We go to church and give the churches, they say it's been $80 billion in the last 10 years. $80 billion in the church. We don't have a political action agency coming out of TD Jakes. We don't have a political action agency. I don't mean political action. I'm thinking of the community action.
I know what you mean, but that's because the people, well, a lot of people who are politically active aren't given to the church. So you can't expect the church to be politically active when the membership of the church, they're not politically active.
Bruh. When we spend our money, that's political.
Who is we?
Black church. Did you just hear me say the black church?
But I'm saying, you saying, well, we spend our money is political, but
That's political.
the people, do you give money to the church?
I ain't got no money.
Then how can you expect the church if you don't support the church? How can you expect, or is it fair to expect? Is it fair to expect the church to support you?
So growing up, everybody was taught in the church, get your dollar out, the collection plate coming. Did you go through that when you was little?
Sure.
I know I had to go to church on Easter when I was growing up. Did you go to church when you was little?
Yeah.
On Easter?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we train our kids early in life, get that dollar to the church.
We who?
I'm talking to you. I'm black.
So my question becomes, did you train your children that way?
Oh, no, they can't do that.
Right. So you can't, that's what I'm saying. You say we did this and we did that. But you hold on. But TD Jakes is not the norm in terms of churches. His church and, the Joel Osteen and all those mega churches, those aren't the norm.
I don't go get into Joel Osteen because he had homeless people sitting outside of his church and he had millions of dollars in the wall.
Right, but the point that I'm making is that a lot of these churches is 100 people and less, and they're not bringing in the TD Jakes, and you can't use them as the example when you talk about what churches are or are not doing.
Okay, but I'm going back to, if you go back and look, the black political civil rights struggle emerged from the church.
I agree, but then the people left the church. Those people left the church.
Came out the church. So the church at one time was a political entity.
Agreed.
And it worked as such. Okay,
agreed.
So that's the first thing.
But people left it.
So what I'm saying is, you're not listening.
I am.
What I'm saying is there's enough money within the churches that they get every week whether the people support the church or not, to create a political action committee to address the issues of the demographic of the people that the church is looking to serve. Can you agree with me on that?
I understand what you're saying.
Same thing with the Nation of Islam. Minister Farrakhan is about to sue the Anti-Defamation League for $4.9 billion because they've been saying he anti-Semitic. But again, you can't really define what Semitic is, because the Ashkenazi Jews, they're not Semitic people. Those are white people from Europe. They're not Shurpetic Jews. And we have a lot of issues, to whoever in the chat who just said I got too many issues. Black people have a lot of issues. We're not a monolithic issue people. And it's not about belief. It's about fact and action. And we're too far in the future to still be saying, oh, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. Either one is bad. Both of them is good. It's not about them. Where are we going as a... And we all can say that if you don't see, we're in some serious trouble. We're endangered by not being concerned about our issues. When it's not one issue that's going. You can go. What you say about abortion? You don't want to murder the baby,
Yes,
but
right.
ain't nowhere for them to live.
Well,
Ain't no daycare.
that don't make it
You
okay
can't
to
get
murder
food
them, though.
stamps. Ain't nowhere to work. How they gonna eat?
That don't make it right to murder them.
Who gonna dress them? The Republican Party got a restraining order against them right now. The state of Ohio got a restraining order against them because they want to close Ohio public schools right now. What do you do with children when, one, you ain't got nothing to feed them, you ain't got nowhere for them to live, you can't provide an education for them, yet here you are with children.
Marquette?
Little girl was 10 years old. She had to go and get an abortion in Indiana because somebody took advantage of her. She was supposed to just see. It's a lot of stuff with that. But I appreciate your time. You know, I ain't got nobody else to talk to about this stuff with y'all.
Marquetta, I appreciate your call. That was Marquetta. I appreciate Marquetta's call. Again, I don't agree with everything Marquetta say, but I don't agree with everything most people. I don't know that I've even met a person that I agree with everything they say, so I don't even necessarily have to say that. I like listening to her. But I would say, with regard to the churches stepping up and becoming a political action, look, if you want the churches to do that, you got to join the churches. You can, but I don't think that it's fair or right to tell a group of people that you don't rock with, you don't associate with, you don't participate with, what to do. I'm not a member of a fraternity. So what I look like telling fraternities what they should be doing? If I want to tell the alphas what to do, I should join the alphas, participate. But I'm just on the outside. Oh, y'all alphas, y'all should be doing this. No. So to say to the churches, hey, y'all should be doing this. Y'all were really effective when y'all did this. Back in the day, y'all did some good stuff. But look at what happened. All right, they did some good stuff. And then everybody left. So the people there, they not, for whatever reason, they're not looking to do that stuff. And if you want them to be looking to do that stuff, go there. Join. Become a member. And then have your voice heard and say, hey, we need to do this. Hey, we need to do that. That's how you do that. But you don't be like, Look at them people over there. They got $80 billion and look at what they doing with it. Well, put your dollar in and then they got 80 billion in one. And now maybe you got some say. But all of the politically active people, well, when I say all, I don't mean all. There are still some churches, some ministers who are very politically active. You don't see or hear about them very much. I mean, here locally, you have Damon Lynch. He's a minister. That's a church. He's politically active. But he's a small church. He's not T.D. Jakes. So I would imagine around the country, you have a whole lot of small churches with ministers and members who are politically active. They not going to get, I don't care what Damon Lynch do. He not going to get coverage like T.D. Jakes. It's just not going to happen. But come on into the church and make that be known. And a lot of people think churches don't do nothing, but y'all know I'm in the church community. And I see a whole lot of churches doing a whole lot of stuff. It's not huge, big things, because, again, a lot of churches are smaller. And they're, as somebody put up here, they're barely getting by. But, we got a food pantry and we serve people. And, we participate in all of these outreach things. Well, I'll never hear about them because it's only like 50 of those people and they pulling their resources trying to feed hungry people. It's not 30,000 people a week and they got millions of dollars. It's 50 people who all, to some different state of their financial whatever. And they're putting in a portion of their money. And then they're using some of that money. Well, yeah, they got to pay bills and all that kind of stuff. Churches still have to pay electricity and all that stuff. But then they taking some of their money and they're buying things and they're helping the community. So it in terms of that, that's actually something that you can do something about. Join. Ron says, I got saved over 30 years ago and the church has deteriorated to a place I don't belong. I don't even know what that means. What church deteriorated to a place you don't? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. When I say what does that mean, I mean I'm like legitimately asking, what does that mean? You're saying you were at a church and the building crumbled? Like, what are you saying? I don't understand what you're saying. Also, Ron said earlier, you do all the things that you said you commit to doing it, and we don't wait for other people to do it. We do it with our black selves. You do all the things that you said you commit to doing it, and we don't wait for other people to do it. We do it with our black selves. Okay. Somebody asked me if I was doing, I just finished doing Gospel Superfest. We're actually in the editing process. I just got finished doing it on September 20th. So you mean, am I doing Gospel Superfest next year? Well, if I get invited back, sure. Davis says, more churches in Avondale than black business. Gotta ask why. Because they're people, like-minded people who want to gather and worship together. They're probably really small. The majority of them are probably really small churches. And especially with a small church, that's one place where you could definitely go in and have an impact. I mean, think about it. You walk in TD Jakes' church, you got what, 30,000 people every week or something like that. You walk into one of these churches with 25 people, you're not one of 30,000. You're one of now 26. You have an amazing voice now. And you get in there and, they like, hey, sister, fill out the visitor card. You keep coming. And we might even donate a little bit of money. And you're like, what we doing with our money? Shouldn't we be kind of starting some sort of political action committee? And they're going to be like, what? And you just talk to them. Like, look, when we can get with the other churches and we can all come together and do things to make things better for us as a group. That's the way stuff start. That's the way stuff start. Not being on the outside like, look at y'all 25. Y'all could be a political action committee. Like, no, look at us 26. We could be a political action committee. Then somebody be like, amen. Well, next thing you know what I'm saying? You got the beginning of a political action committee. But it's hard to do it from the outside. All right. I don't know that I really have anything else. Again, I'm still in the same position that I've been since the very beginning of this Israel-Palestine stuff. I'm in the same position where I've always been. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's actually going on. I know what I've been told, but I'm not there to experience it. And I can't take the word even of people who are there. Because, everybody got their own little slant. I pray for peace. Pray for peace. What's the name of Minister Farrakhan's political action committee? I don't know that he has one. That's why we have so many preachers, quick money. I don't know if that's why. Look, I do believe that there are preachers out there who, I'm going to say who hustle to get money. But I know enough preachers who ain't making no money. They just want to feel free to fellowship with like-minded people and worship the way they want to worship. And, everybody thinking, oh, I'll start my own church and I'm going to get rich. Nah, a lot of times sometimes I was with this group of people and they was doing some stuff like I was all right with them, but it was some stuff that they was doing that I'm like, I don't think, in my interpretation or the way that God spoke it to me is not that way. That shouldn't be done, or that should be done this way, or, whatever. So I need to go and start my thing the way God spoke to me that it should be going. And now he got 25 people with him. But he wasn't thinking, I'm going to step out here and I'm going to get paid. Man, with these 25 people, I ain't going to never have to work again. I don't actually know of a minister who got into ministering, preaching to get rich. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't know of any. Me and my 25 people, I'm going to get rich. I don't know of any. Ron agrees with me. I'm accept that that's what he's doing. He's agreeing with me. I and I like to tease Ron because I like Ron. I think I think really the only thing we disagree on for the most part, Ron, is that Republicans are some amazingly great people and black people shouldn't vote for Democrats. They should all vote Republican. I think that's where our big disagreement comes. Republicans are great, amazing. They care about black people. Because you were asking the question a few days ago, Ron, to black people, what did you get for your black vote? And I wanted to ask you that exact same question. You voting for Republicans. What did you get for your black vote to the Republicans? What did you get for your black vote? Steban Speed said that's why the black dollar leaves the community. What's why? What's why the black dollar leaves the community? Do you like Ron as much as you do Bill? I like Ron. I like Ron. Bill was just dumb. He's just a big dummy. But I like Ron. I don't think Ron is dumb. But I'm asking, what is why the black dollar leaves the community? I think that a part of the reason why the black dollar leaves the community is a part of why. Well, number one, there's not a whole lot of black businesses in the black community. And I think when you look, y'all do realize businesses, it's not, y'all know, like the little mom and pop hardware store. A lot of those went out of business when the big box hardware store came about. So when people be sitting back talking about how things used to be in the 60s, but then welfare came about and everything changed, it wasn't just welfare. A lot of it was, we don't do business the same way that we used to do business. There was a grocery store when I grew up. There was a grocery store right down the street from the house. A little small grocery store. We called it Calvin's. Calvin's. He sold grocery and everything right down the street. Calvin's could not compete today with Kroger and Walmart and Target and Meijer and, all of these huge grocery conglomerates. The A&P used to be up the street a little bit. Calvin was competing with A&P. And they was kind of trying to hold their own against Kroger. As those companies got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, they pushed out the little guy. And I think we discount that a lot and don't think about that. Like, oh, we used to circulate the dollar in our community, and it was this in our community, and it was that in our community. But in most communities, like I remember, and this is going to be ridiculous, I'm pulling a Lincoln Ware. Admittedly, I'm pulling a Lincoln Ware. I know it's TV. It's not real. But I remember when Mr. Cunningham on Happy Days had to close his hardware store because of the big box hardware store that came to town. Y'all remember that? That was make-believe because Mr. Cunningham was a made-up character. But the idea that even white people, and you know, if it happened to white people, it happened to black people, that even white people, small business owners, their businesses went out of business when these huge chains and conglomerates came in and took over. So the idea that, oh, we need a little black hardware store to compete with Home Depot, and in the black community, it should be a little small black owned hardware store where we can circulate our dollar. That sounds great. I get it. It does. It sounds great. But when I need to go to a hardware, look, Ace Hardware is struggling. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. Ace Hardware is struggling. Because when I need to go get hardware stuff, it's so convenient and it's cheaper to go to the box stores. And they're even beginning to struggle because it's so much cheaper to just go online, order it, and get it delivered to the house. We need to circulate the black dollar. We need to figure out a way to circulate the black dollar. I agree. But it ain't as simple as y'all kind of say it and make it seem. Used to be the black doctor lived right down there on the street. You could go and they made house calls. They ain't doing house calls no more. And all the doctors in the city here just about are a part of these health conglomerates, Tri-Health and all of that stuff. I'm not saying they don't exist. I don't know an independent black doctor. I'm sure they exist. I don't know how much money they making. We need to circulate the black dollar. Used to be a doctor lived right down the street, and we all went to Dr. So-and-so. This ain't the 60s no more. And it ain't just because, the government wanted to tear the family apart with welfare and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that's true. But it ain't all that. Some of it is just times changed. Times changed. Davis Denise said, you would never hear Chinese folks or Mexican folk talk like that. I'm not sure that that's true. I'm not sure that that's true. Sure, you got like some little Mexican grocery stores here and there. But they struggling too. I go to Jungle Gyms, I see Chinese people up in there all the time. They ain't at their local Chinese food place. Or the local, I see Latino people all the time. They not at their local Latino grocery store. Now they venturing out too. I say give it 10 years. I say, and this is just me guesstimating, give it 10 years. When they're much more comfortable integrating themselves into society, they gonna stop going to that little Latino grocery store, picking up their Latino foods because Kroger gonna carry them, Walmart gonna carry them. Do Bigs even exist anymore? Meijer gonna carry them. All of these big stores gonna carry them. And next thing you know, all of those little Chinese and Asian and Latino grocery stores, mom and pops on the corner, they gonna be gone. They gonna be gone. And so we need to figure out another way to circulate the dollar than to be, talking about what used to happen in the 60s. That's what we need to figure out. Davis Denise. Only we talk and think like the white man only one can bake bread. No, but if the white man can bake bread on a large scale and get it to me for cheaper, and I'm not afraid to go to the white man spot, I'm talking like a Latino now. Go to Walmart. Go to Walmart. You're going to see them Latinos up in there getting the Latino brands. All right, y'all. I said it was going to be a short show, and it wasn't a short show, but I do have to get out of here. I got ink over there drying. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. We got to find another way to circulate the dollar. Find another way to circulate the dollar. Ross says, make your own bread. Where are you going to get the ingredients to make your own bread? You going to grow them? You're just going to grow the ingredients yourself. All right. Maybe you are. I don't know. But like acting like, all this stuff is one thing. I don't know that you ever gonna necessarily get anywhere pretending that something is something that it's not. Look, okay, let me go back to the start of the show. I'm with y'all. Let's circulate the dollar. Let's go to the black-owned grocery store that's in the neighborhood where we just walk to the grocery store and shop at it. And go to the doctor that live right down the street from you. Or actually, he'll just come and make house calls again, like he used to do in the 60s. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go back to the old ways. Let's get Mr. Fred to start a hardware store. Yeah, Mr. Fred, start a hardware store. I need a hammer, and I want to circulate my black dollar. You can do it. We going back to the 60s. You can do it. Ross says it's only flour and water, genius. Where are you getting the flour from? You growing wheat? You growing wheat in your apartment? You growing and harvesting wheat to make enough bread to last you? That's what you're doing? Where are you getting your ingredients? Jason says, and yeast. He's growing. How do you make yeast? He gonna grow it. He gonna grow it. He gonna grow the wheat. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I want to see everybody growing wheat and corn and all that good stuff in your apartment. So when I look in the window of your apartment, it should be some wheat stalks growing. We don't need the white man for nothing. Y'all know what I always say, and I always mean it. Until next time, it's been the Afternoon Experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. If you out and about today, and tomorrow's supposed to be a really nice day. I don't know that I'll be here tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can get the little baby and take her to the zoo. She's been asking me to go to the zoo. I grow food on my land, Ninja. You ain't got no land. Stop it. You ain't got no goddamn land. Your little broke ass live in an apartment somewhere and spend your whole day talking shit to people on talk shows on Facebook. You ain't got no goddamn land. Who you trying to fool? I was trying to sign off. And you talking about you grow food on your land. Who you fooling? food on your land. Ain't got no goddamn land. If you see people out and about, be the reason somebody smiles today. Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace. No goddamn land. You ain't got no goddamn land. Who you trying to